This is Terry, and in today's video, we're going to be solving for one variable. So let's look at our question here first. We have y minus 4 equals negative, and then parentheses, x plus 4, close parentheses, and we're looking for y. So basically, when we're solving for one variable, we want to get that variable, or in our case, we're looking for y. So we want y on one side of the equal sign and everything else on the other side of the equal sign. So we're going to start working this problem. And if you remember by the orders of operation, we always start with our parentheses first. So we look inside our parentheses. So we look at that x plus 4. Is there anything we can do with that x plus 4? We can't combine anything. There's nothing we can do with that. So there's nothing inside the parentheses we can do. So then we look immediately outside the parentheses. And yes, we have a negative sign. I'm going to make it red here. We have a negative sign that's outside the parenthesis. So we're going to have to distribute that negative sign to each thing that's inside the parenthesis. And if you remember, when we do that, all it does is changes our signs of the things inside the parenthesis. So this will become a negative x and a negative 4. And that lets us drop our parentheses. So let's bring everything else down now because we didn't change these other things on the other side. And so now we have y minus 4 equals negative x minus 4. So the next thing we want to do is we want to get just y by itself over there, right? So we've got to move this negative 4. And remember, to move something from one side of the equal sign to the other side, we have to do the opposite. So here it's like a minus 4, and the opposite of a minus is a plus. So we're going to say plus 4, and we have to move him to the other side. Now, we have to have him match up, and he matches up with this negative 4. And when I mean match up, they have to be like terms. So he doesn't have any variable with him, so he has to go with somebody that doesn't have a variable. All right, so when we do that, that actually will cancel out that negative 4 and that 4, right? And that leaves us with y equals, we have a negative x, so we bring that down, and we have negative 4 plus 4, and that would make a plus 0, or we can just say y equals negative x. We don't have to leave that 0 on there. And at that point, we have completely solved for y. We have y on one side and everything else on the other. All right, so let's try one more here. And we're going to try 6x plus 7y equals 42. And we're going to solve for y. All right, so here we go again. We want to keep y on one side of the equal sign by itself and everything else on the other. So we have 6x plus 7y equals 42. So the last thing we're going to touch is that 7y. We'll deal with him in a minute. So we've got to move that 6x from the left side to the right side. And remember, if it crosses the equal sign, it has to do the opposite. Well, here we have a plus. It's like it's a plus 6x, right? So the opposite of a plus is a minus. So we're going to put minus 6x. Now, when we bring it to the other side, if I put it right underneath the 42, I can't combine those two, can I? Because 42 doesn't have an x. So I'm just going to kind of push it out here to the side a little bit, specifically so I will not forget and accidentally add it to that 42. All right, so let's go back and look now. We've got this 6x minus 6x, that just cancels, right? And that leaves us with a 7y equals, and remember, we can't add these two, so it's 42 minus 6x. They do not both have the same variable, so we cannot add them, so we just bring them down. All right, so now we have 7y on one side and everything else on the other. We've got to get rid of that 7. And that 7 by that y, it's multiplied, right? Because they're touching each other. So we're going to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. And division will always be our last step, guys. Just kind of letting you know that. It will always be our last thing. So when we do division here, what we do to one side, we have to do to the other. And so we actually do it to the whole thing. We're going to divide that whole thing by 7. When we divide, the whole thing gets divided by 7. When we add and subtract and move things across the equal sign, it just goes to like terms. But when we divide, everything on that other side gets divided. Okay, so let's rewrite this a little bit. So that's going to leave us with, we can cancel out those 7s, and that's going to leave us with y equals, and I'm going to rewrite this just like we've rewrote things before. 42 over 7 minus 6x over 7. Okay, so we're going to split it out so it's a little easier to divide up. All right, so now what we want to do is we just want to simplify if we can. So y equals, what's 42 divided by 7? We know that is 6, right? And then we have minus, and if you said 6 divided by 7, that does not divide evenly, so we're just going to leave it as 6/7, and then it has an x with it. So we'll just put the x there. And now we have completely solved for y. We have y on one side, everything else on the other, so we can leave it in that form.